Hi everybody, Joshua here with the Heavy Piano YouTube channel. Today's video will be a piano tutorial for Elliott Smith's Pretty Ugly Before. So this will be chords and melody more or less, and I'll talk about some of the rhythms I do. I encourage you to check out my Synthesia as well as the acoustic version. They're both improvised using this basic structure, but they're each a little different just because one's on a keyboard, one's on an acoustic piano. Let's see here. Let's get right into it, right? So at our introduction we have, I'm going to say it's a C6. It's real quiet. It's like a synth or a little organ or something playing. So you can kind of play like a C6, and the notes that I drew out were the C and the A. And there's like an F sharp in there. So it's kind of like the first part of the melody, right? And I kind of added that lower D in the acoustic version, I believe. But so C, C6, D over F sharp, or D. And then we have our little intro chord here. It's a G major 7. So I'm kind of playing it like that. I'm just using a really, what I guess jazz people would say is a really unhip voicing. But I do think that's kind of what Elliott is using on the guitar, and it sounded pretty good to me. So let's see here. We have 2 times in this G major 7. And then when the melody comes in, it's like a D7 over G. So we're going between that D7 over G back to the G major 7. We're going to do that twice. Or maybe just make it a G, no 7th the second time. So then we have D7 again. D7 over G. G. E7, C6, D over F sharp, F, there's that little line there. You can walk the bass up. Here's our verse, C, D over F sharp, G. There's that lick in there. Do that much again. C, D over F sharp, G, C, D over F sharp, G, E7 again, C, D over F sharp, F, there's our lick, going to the A minor. Now we're going to use those same chords, same progression we've been using, and it's an instrumental. So here, I'll start throwing some of the rhythm, and I'm just kind of playing over the chords. So the chords will be C, D over F sharp, G, right? And we use that 3 times, and after the 3rd time, we have the E7 to signify we're going to change to like a C, D over F sharp, F to A minor progression. So kind of think of that in terms of that. So let's see here. So we have like our solo over C, D over F sharp, the G the first time, D over F sharp, so I noticed the second time Elliott did that G in the instrumental the first time through, sorry, it's a little confusing, he played a G7, and then that kind of signified this guitar solo that I played up here. I really pulled back in my version for the last time through for the verse. C, C6, D over F sharp, G. So there's that E7 we're kind of using as a signal chord to switch to the other progression. So here's the second time through the C, D over F sharp, F, A minor progression. And we'll do this 4 times. And the first 2 times I noticed the lyrics, the melody is more emphasized. And then after that, the last 2 times, I noticed there's more of the, those notes. So there's like these upper vocals doing harmonies. Ugly before, and then it's like, ooh. So E, 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 D, and F, 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 E, right? So the first 2 times through this progression, I played more of the melody here that the verse did. And then the second time, the second 2 times, third and the fourth time, I was emphasizing more of the harmonies that Elliott uses. If that makes sense. Just one of the things I was thinking about. Let's talk about some of the rhythms I'm using at the beginning, that. So that bum, dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, kind of like the drums, even though there's no drums there, it's the same kind of rhythm that gets used later. And then when the verses come in, let's see here. I did that walk down to the E7. And again, the E7 really signifies that we're switching from our C, D sharp, or D over F sharp, G progression, and now we're going to go C, D over F sharp, F to A minor. So I kind of thought of the E7 as serving as like a pivoting chord, going to a little bit different, a little modification on the chord progression. But I'm using that double hit, right? Then going to lower octaves sometimes to drive more of the energy forward. Bum, ba, ba, some of those syncopated chords in there to add a little more rhythm and energy and movement. Really landing on that E7, so it's really like a signifier. Kind of walk. Excuse me. I was looking up on my screen instead of paying attention to my fingers. So yeah. Anything you do to like create a little bit of movement between the chords so it's not too static in your playing. I talked about the solo a little bit. I hope this is helpful, having the chords and kind of seeing what I'm doing and seeing some of the notes I'm playing. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll try to get back to you. I have a little bit more of a spread maybe than some pianists might have. It's totally fine to switch to fifths or octaves, just something that is more comfortable, so you can play without like having to strain, and you definitely don't create any like sharp angles in your wrist or anything like that, and don't strain to get any of these voicings out. It's totally fine. So there I'm avoiding octaves completely. And I think anyone should be able to do like fifths like that. Or even, so I have my pinky here on the F sharp. I can bring, so I'm centering, centering my hand back over to here. I'm not, so I do have the benefit of that stretch, but you could totally hold that note with the pedal. Get some of those voicings in there. Kind of like let the pedal do some of the work for you. So I hope that's helpful. Give my versions a view or a listen. Kind of see where I'm coming from. Questions or comments, leave them below. A big thank you to my patrons on Patreon and to Emily, who requested this song. So thank you, Emily, for getting me to finally arrange or cover or improvise this song for everybody here. And I appreciate everybody watching, and thank you, and I will catch you next time.